God! No! My God! My God!
That is the audio again of the gentleman being dragged off the United Airlines plane yesterday. We've got an update on this story today.
Oh my God!
Where they've got a bunch of passengers who've spoken out now. The CEO of United has spoken out, and this is almost stranger than fiction. I'll just have to say that. Why don't we bring in Chris here?
Who is the man that would risk his neck for his brother man?
Shaft! Can you dig it?
Are you flying United anytime soon, Chris?
I am a Southwest Airlines man only. And you know why?
Because seats aren't assigned?
No.
Oh.
I fly that airline only, and I hope I'm not giving them an unnecessary commercial.
Oh.
But they are the only airline that has never had a crash. So I tell Becky, whenever I have to go somewhere, please put it on Southwest Airlines.
Okay.
That's how I don't like flying.
I understand.
I can't stand it.
You know how many pilots? You know how many pilots it takes to fly a JetBlue aircraft?
How many?
2 1/5.
Ah. Okay.
Oh, but remember that from the drinking escapade? So yeah, that's I needed that. My favorite thing about this United story, regardless of where you come down on whether the guy should have been forced to leave or not, are the memes that have filled social media today. Yes. So I put one up on my webpage earlier on Facebook, the Marc Cox Show, with Negan on there from The Walking Dead, and he's walking down the center of the plane going, "Eeny, meeny, miny, mo." It's just hilarious. And then Church shows me one where it's got that same picture, and below it shows, like, all you can see are the back of people's heads. Mm-hmm. The next one has a cutaway to the seat, and the guy sitting in the seat next to him is Glenn from The Walking Dead. Which, if you're not a Walking Dead fan, you won't get that humor, but I suspect most people have seen the show at this point.
That's not the funniest one, though. Have you seen the one where they do the scene from the old Airplane movie?
Yeah, where they're shaking the girl and smacking her.
That's the one. I cracked up when I saw that one. That one was hilarious.
Yeah, here's the deal. So we found out more about the guy who got dragged off the plane, and his background is really kind of irrelevant to all of this, but I thought it was interesting, right? Yeah. So he's a physician.
That's what they said.
And TMZ is reporting that he had his medical license stripped back in 2005 he was basically a pill doctor, right? He was handing out opioids and all this other stuff to people. Right. People were doctor shopping. I guess he was helping them. And he apparently was accused of trading pills for sex in return for sexual favors. So they stripped him of his medical license for 10 years. And he just got his ability to practice back in 2015, 1 day a week at a clinic. He's not allowed to practice at a hospital or anything else. Yeah. So he claimed that he had to be back in Louisville to work, so I'm assuming the next day must have been his clinic day, is all I can figure. He was also on the World Poker Series while he had his medical license stripped. He had to make money somehow, so he played on the World Series of Poker.
Very interesting.
Isn't that something?
It is.
So then the guy gets on this plane, and the computer determined who was going to have to leave. Did you know that? So they're defending this, saying that they followed protocol.
Protocol is like grabbing you out of your seat and dragging you out of the plane? Is that protocol?
Yeah,
now?
well, no. Protocol is that if you've got an overbooked flight, which in this case it wasn't overbooked, right? They had everybody seated. And then 4 employees walked up and said, we need to be on this plane to get to Louisville for our next flight. Yeah. And they made the fatal error of saying, okay. And they went on the plane and said, if anybody wants to give up their seat, we'll give you a $1,000 voucher. Right. And these guys need to fly, and nobody would do it. So then their rule book says you go down this list of things, and then you get down to the one where it says just go to the computer and have the computer randomly select 4 people. Yeah. And when they informed this dude that he wasn't going to be able to go, he kind of freaked out a little bit. Hold on. Listen, he kind of freaked out a little bit. They grabbed him, and he ran to the back of the plane. This is audio of him running to the back of the plane.
I have to go home. I have to go home. I have to go home. I have to go home.
That's Luke.
That's the doctor?
I have to go home. I have to go home. I have to go home.
He ran to the back of the plane and tried to hide behind the little black curtain they can pull across by the bathrooms back there. But, of course, they found him. And then he got back in his seat, and he wouldn't leave. He had blood dripping off his face. I don't know how he got away from the cops. Now, get this story's taken another turn. So the CEO of United put out an email praising his employees,
Right.
but saying they really needed to probably look at their procedures again. You think?
Yeah.
Did you know in March he won the Public Relations Communicator of the Year award in 2017?
I saw that.
Just presented to him last month. Oops. Because they're ripping him a new one today, right?
But you know what the airline should have done, if maybe this was last minute with the extra 4 employees need to come on, but you do that when people are still in the terminal asking, hey, do you want to come off or, give up your seat? I mean, you're on the plane, you're settled, your luggage is on and all that. At that point, you can't give me enough money almost to get off the plane. I'm set, I'm going home or where I need to be. Sorry.
Now the thing's gone viral in China, where some people are claiming that this was racism because the guy who refused to get off the plane was apparently of Chinese origin.
Oh, was he? I didn't see.
And so all the passengers made it onto CNN. A bunch of the passengers listened.
I have no reason to believe that race wasn't an issue. However, I do believe the way that the personnel from the airline chose to handle this was just very, very poor. And in poor taste.
You hear the poor dude screaming in the background. Listen.
So once they drag,
so then they finally get this guy off the plane. The other 3 people left voluntarily, right?
Yeah.
Then the new United passengers come on the plane. Listen.
So once they drag the guy off, and then subsequently the United employees come on the plane, the other passengers were just berating the employees, saying things like, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be embarrassed to work for this company.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be those guys having to hitch a ride to work that day, huh?
It's a bad day for United Airlines yesterday.
No kidding.
And the thing is, I know the security guard was just doing his job, or the police officer, but everybody has cameras now on their phones. I mean, why wouldn't you think that, hey, somebody's going to start pulling out their phones and videotaping this, and this is not going to look well, us dragging one of our passengers off the airplane.
Devil's advocate here for a minute.
Yeah.
If you read the fine print of any plane ticket you buy, it tells you very clearly that you are a passenger and you're their guest.
Right.
But you have to abide by their rules while you're there. And if they tell you to leave the plane for any reason, you don't own the seat and you have to vacate it. You don't have any rights when you get onto an airplane. You just don't, right? Yeah. And ultimately, they shouldn't have handled it the way they did. Yeah. But the loggerhead here was they came up against an unmovable force. The other 3 people went willingly. This guy refused to go. And at that point, what were they? I don't know how else they could have proceeded. He refused to leave. So I'm betting that had they turned around and picked somebody else at random, if that dude was smart or they would have refused to leave too. And then they've got a whole plane full of people who are mad at him. So they called security and had him come down in the plane to take the guy away. I'm sorry for what happened to him, and I think United really needs to rethink their policy of paying passengers for employees who just need a ride to work. But, and the bottom line is that the guy should have followed the rules and gotten up out of his seat and left. And he wouldn't have gotten injured, and he would have gotten on the next flight to Louisville.
Yeah, the 20/20 hindsight is, as they say, but hey.
Well, I just don't. I can't. It's a public relations disaster for United, but I just can't. I just can't wrap my brain around the fact that the guy kind of brought that bloody nose on himself by refusing to get up and leave. He didn't have a right to sit there,
and he seemed to, kind of be egging it on a little bit and was kind of acting. I mean, he had blood running down his face. I'm sure he was hurt, but he seemed to be kind of.
Yeah, Dr. Dow was his name. DAO, Dow. PR award of the year.
Yeah,
that is
Vietnamese
hilarious.
or Chinese, one of them.
Yeah,
Dow.
I don't know.
Yeah,
you an expert in that?
There's a restaurant.
Oh, I see.
that's the first part of the name. So I'm like, that's Vietnamese. I sounded intelligent, like I knew something, didn't I?
At CARPS on Twitter. I'm just teasing you, Chris. Thank you very much.
Hey, before we, happy anniversary.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for the role you play here, too. Filling in and helping us out on Tuesdays.
What role is that?
Well, it's a contributor. Absolutely.
Hey, tell me this. Do you still have that bottle of bourbon I gave you at your first day?
Are you kidding me?
I didn't laugh.
Did I have it the first week? Would have been a good question. Come on. No, I don't drink a bottle a week. I'm just teasing.
Maybe
but
you're a slow
it's good
sipper.
stuff. No. Okay. One at a time.
One at a time. There
Slowly, but one at a time.
One shot glass at a time.
I'll get to some of your phone calls in a minute. 314-969-9797. Since Chris brought it up, we are going to give away a Mark Cox Show anniversary gift pack coming up in the next hour, so stick around for that. We'll be doing that all week. We'll get to your calls and much more right after this.
The Mark Cox Show on FM News Talk 97.1, 98.7, AM 1490, and 97.1talk.com. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather.
The official FM News Talk 97.1 Weather Center forecast. Partly sunny today and cooler than recent days with a high of 66. And mainly clear tonight with a low of 46. Tomorrow, beautiful day, mostly sunny skies with a warmer afternoon, high 73. On Thursday, times of sun and clouds, and even warmer with a high of 79. I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg for FM News Talk 97.1.
So Chris Brown is the executive director out at Mount Carmel Senior Living, and they're on their new campus out in Old Town O'Fallon, right in the heart of it, right there on the campus of St. Mary's in Villa Teresa. And here's what he told me when we went out and visited. He said, "We care for our residents like we're caring for our own family." That's his motto. He's on site every day to make sure that gets carried out. It gets carried out in a beautiful setting, by the way. And if you need rehab, what's it for? You're there temporarily most of the time, and it's designed to get people back on their feet, get them moving, do exercises that can make you self-sufficient at home. Out here at Mount Carmel, they have a piece of equipment called the Balance Master that helps people get more stable on their feet and prevent falls. The same machine that was used by John Glenn to get him ready to go back to space when he went. That's pretty awesome. This is the kind of care and attention that they're giving to your loved ones at Mount Carmel Senior Living out in Old Town O'Fallon. Recently remodeled. You're going to love it. They partner with SSM Rehab. Here's what you do. You can call them at 636-946-4140 or go to their website at mountcarmelliving.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert. Did you know that over 50% of the loans that we've closed this year are FHA loans? FHA generally has a lower interest rate, lower down payment requirements, and you can get the most cash out. I've been the #1 FHA mortgage loan originator in the entire Midwest year after year. Need an FHA loan? Why would you go anywhere else? Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee residential mortgage licensee.
Trial lawyers continue their attacks on Missouri companies, scaring off new investment and jobs. For years, Missouri's legal landscape has tilted in favor of the trial lawyers with their lobbyists and their money as they've conspired to gain more and more control over our legal system. Today, St. Louis is called the #1 judicial hellhole. We should be embarrassed if we let the trial lawyers continue to exploit Missouri's one-sided legal system. It's an outrage, it's wrong, and it hurts Missouri families. Picking the pockets of companies and working families and driving employers and jobs out of our state? Missouri needs to